we've been talking a lot about the last little while, we've been talking a lot about range, about outside, middle range, close range. So today we're going to kind of clean up a few things that I've seen, and we're going to start on the outside. Middle range wasn't looking too bad, so we'll leave that for another day. But we're going to go outside range, clean up a couple things, and inside range in the clinch. On the outside, one of the things I'm not seeing is a lot of hip exchange. Remember, your hips are what generate your power. Your feet anchor your power, hands deliver it. What I'm seeing is a lot of very straight, not a whole lot of shoulder exchange. When I throw my hips, my shoulders move with it. So if you want to throw a hard cross, you need that hip exchange. You need that hip coming forward. Otherwise, you're just throwing an arm punch. If there's no hips in it, it's just an arm punch. I don't care how big you are, you just can't throw a big arm punch. So what I need is to have you, whatever angle your feet are at, your hips are at, your shoulders are at. You're in your longer guard, so your front hand is ready for what there, Raph? Is ready for your jab to defend, right? Because that's the present danger at long range, is a jab, not a lead hook. So, and you've got your front hand out. When you throw your cross, turn those hips. Almost like you're trying to hit the guy in front of you with your hips. You might as well be. So picture it like that. It's got to be an explosive movement. Those hips come right forward. Release your heel from the ground. Don't worry about twisting your foot. That'll happen on its own when you move your hips. Boom! It's really got to twist. It's got to be an explosive movement. Otherwise, you're just not getting a whole lot out of it. The next thing I want to make you aware of, now we'll correct this in a minute, but actually let's come over there quick. And just for them, throw your cross. Yep, and bring it back. So, of the two movements that he just did, which is the more important one?
When you come back?
Just as important, yeah. So neither one is more important, but it's just as important to bring those hips back as it is to send them out. It's called a reset. So if you're not resetting your hips after every combination, especially one that finishes with your offhand, if you're not resetting, there's a fraction of a second there where you're out of position. In boxing, that's all it takes. You can get touched up 2 or 3 times. If they start seeing that hole in your defense, that you throw that out, whether you pause, you pose where some guys will, they'll throw a big punch and they kind of leave it out there because it feels cool. Your hips got to come back. And I say your hips, not your hands. A lot of guys will think their hand and they'll bring the hand back nice and quick. Don't think about it as if your hand has to reset. Your hand will reset, but you have to think about it like you're resetting your hips. Just as explosively as you drew them out, you get a reset. When you reset your hips, your hand will come back. So now throw one with a good reset. Yep, that's it. So when you throw that, I want you to think of that. Hips out, hips back. Really make a concentrated effort to reset those hips.
I mean, even for me, as soon as you bring the hips back, it feels afterwards. Because it
Yeah.
goes back anyway.
Your hand comes back anyway, so you can almost forget about your hand in that position. Out, bring it back in. All right, so let's partner up and let's throw some 1-2s. Yeah, yes, pads and gloves.